Dear readers, what I am about to disclose to you is of a personal nature. You have not been privy to my thoughts and feelings laid so bare. My opinion I still freely provide, but more light is needed in times of perpetual darkness. I am driven by duty and honour to bring matters to the public which are in the vested interest of the community. I will never shy away from my obligation to speak out against injustice or inequality, and you should all know me well enough by now to believe this my true opinion. For those who need further proof, read on. You have already paid for the privilege of my wisdom. As some of you know, my devoted husband has been passed for almost 2 years now. I sensed some were of the opinion that I would relent when Rowland died, that I had not the strength and resolve as a woman and a lone widow to carry on in his stead, our son being too young to accept responsibility of the growing enterprise. But they underestimated me. Loss has made me grateful for what I have, and has fed my existing resilience. My continued presence in business is no doubt uncharacteristic of a woman in mourning, but my late husband would attest that I am seldom dictated to. It would be a shame to have your attention thus far and not elaborate on the services in my possession. My devoted staff and myself are always ready to cater to all your requirements in printing, tea, and natural healing remedies. The Wakefield and Halifax Journal that my husband and I procured some years since, and then known as the Wakefield Star, was a natural step in our personal history. Rowland and I worked tirelessly and in unison whilst raising a family to extend the reach of the paper and to craft its message. Success of no cause, but truth. Our editor, Reverend Naylor, remains as loyal as ever. In the interest of the truth I speak of, and you will not convince me that there is any shame in admitting it, I could not have managed without him, or Reverend Johnstone of Westgate Chapel, who continues to share his musical knowledge in a devoted column of my paper. These remarkable gentlemen are my very dear and trusted friends, and have stood by the ethics and humanity of the journal. Within their endorsement and my own business connections, I am afforded the same courtesy as any upstanding man in this town. Would I be bestowed this opportunity if not for these influences? I know very well I would not, but neither am I foolish enough to waste this advantage. What I have achieved despite my lack of influence at the polls has been through sheer determination. I feel it most appropriate to demonstrate to my sons that a woman can achieve just as much as a man, if not more, when given the opportunity and the means, and therefore should not be treated any less favourably. This leads me to the workers of our great nation, who are continually undermined. Upon hearing the mindless rhetoric about town, which pits the lower classes against each other, my conscience prompts me to provide that information which is conveniently not promoted. Do not be swayed by politicians exclaiming that equality is high on their agenda. Parliament is slow to act because they belong to the upper echelon, and the elitists have no desire to attain equality in industry or law, because that would usurp them as the purveyors of power. We can change that, and they know it. Hence a collective flinching of the upper classes each time my headlines emerge. We are a curious species. prone to repeat sensationalism rather than dedicating our efforts to procuring evidence to the contrary. The small man is kept so small he feels the need to create his own importance. Malaise would largely be cured if everyone of eligible age had the right to vote. I support this, and I am wholly behind universal suffrage, as rival publications will notoriously belittle. My friends are quite outspoken in my defence. I, on the other hand, welcome the free press. If you are still compelled to read on by what is printed here, please do so. For now we have arrived at the most crucial and yet disputed section. The battle for our very souls. I feel greatly obliged to detail this as my parting item, so that it lingers upon the mind. It is without doubt one of the greatest injustices of our modern age. The enslavement of the Negro race should have never begun, and it must be reversed. I have grieved the loss of 2 daughters, but I cannot begin to put myself in the place of a mother who has her children torn from her to be sold like cattle in a market. Imagine a poor young girl taken from her home, her family and friends, not even able to convey her fears. For her native tongue is not educated in the English language, and this is a benefit to the slavers, as she cannot communicate to the world her mistreatment. Her sole purpose will be working to exhaustion and breeding more slaves. If she falters in her duties, she and her kind are punished routinely. The very thought that this is occurring in the world is sickening, which is why you will see it dominate my most recent publications. It is a travesty that we as a nation contribute and profit from these criminal acts. No more can we idly stand by and let such grievous dealings continue. Your support can and will aid their emancipation. As we say in the apothecary business, if it is known, it can be remedied.